And happy Thursday, everyone. My name is meteorologist Heather Kane. It's time for our daily hail forecast, sponsored by See-Through Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractors Show, and Atlas Roofing. Thank you guys, as always, for sponsoring our videos. So let's talk about our headlines for today. We do have that chance of hail returning to the Central Plains. So I'll talk about exactly what areas we'll be watching for today for severe weather. And then getting into tomorrow, those storm chances will move to the Gulf Coast, bringing mostly rain. Of course there'll be rain, mostly wind, but there will be a possibility still to see at least some severe hail as well with that. And then we'll take a look at our weekend to see if there are any storm chances that we need to keep an eye on. But before we get into our forecast, we do have a few events coming up. The first one is down in Grapevine, Texas on June 23rd. This is a lunch and a learn event at 1901 South Main Street. So make sure you come on down and to join us to get more information about how you can be successful in the restoration industry. And then we have another one. It's not until July. It's from July 19th to the 22nd down in Daytona Beach, Florida. This is the Florida Roofing and Sheet Metal Expo. And more information about this can be found at www.floridaroof.com. So let's take a look at yesterday's storm reports. This is sponsored by C3 Group. Thank you guys for being a sponsor. It was a pretty busy day, especially in the eastern part of the U.S. We saw a good amount of wind as well as some hail reports. We did have a 3-star map. We'll get to that in just a second. And that activity was in West Virginia. We saw some more hail as well, some wind and a few tornadoes in parts of southern Ohio, westward into Indiana, and then some scattered reports down in the southeastern part of the U.S., as well as a few reports in rural New Mexico. So here is our 3-star map for yesterday. It was in West Virginia. The map is called Morgantown, Masontown, and near Charleston. Didn't hit Charleston itself. It's mostly Morgantown and Masontown here. Up to 2-inch hail fell in these areas, and in terms of the number of homes impacted with 1-inch hail or larger was just over 8,500. So not too shabby. That map is up on our website. If you are a subscriber, you should have access to it. If you are not and you just want an individual map purchase, call us and we can get you set up with that. Or just call us and get subscribed, because why not? So here are our current conditions across the lower 48. We do have a remnant low pressure system in the northeast, as well as a trailing cold front in the southeast. And then we have some rain going on in the Central Plains. We're going to zoom in on there first. Just a few storms going on right now. Nothing is severe at this time. But we're going to be watching this area from Nebraska down into Kansas later on this afternoon, as there is a disturbance coming off of the Rockies that will be bringing us a chance for severe weather this afternoon and evening. And then zooming on into the northeast, just some heavier rain here, spinning in basically from Maine to New Hampshire to Vermont to parts of New York. That's going to be moving off the coast here. Nothing, of course, severe is expected with that, just some heavier rain. But then we have that trailing cold front with that system that we'll be watching for the potential for some isolated severe weather this afternoon and evening as well. So here are current temperatures across the country. You can see where that cold front is. There's a bit of a contrast between the warmer and the colder air. 81 in Atlanta, 80 in New York City. Get behind that cold front though, it's 67 in Fort Wayne. So all that warm air is right along the southern part of the U.S. But we are starting to see those warmer temperatures returning to the Central Plains as well. And in terms of our dew points, very uncomfortable in the southern part of the U.S. A 69-degree dew point in Atlanta, 75 in Miami, as well as in New Orleans. So a lot of moisture along the southern part of the U.S., and it's starting to return to the Central Plains, where again we're expecting that severe weather this afternoon and evening. So here is our future radar. This is the HRRR model, just one particular run of this model. We do have some showers and some rumbles of thunder going on right now here in parts of Nebraska and Kansas. As we get into this afternoon, this is at 4 p.m. Central Time, you can see some more thunderstorm development is expected. We do have to keep an eye on Colorado Springs and Pueblo. The chances are low, but they're there to see some marginally severe hail this afternoon. Then getting into the later evening hours, this is at 9 p.m., you can see some stronger storms are expected to develop, and you can see they're by themselves. So we're expecting discrete supercell mode, at least starting out here. So we can expect some large hail in some of the same areas that we've been seeing. Well, it's been a day or two, but some large hail will be returning to areas such as North Platte, down to Garden City, and maybe as far east as Wichita. And then getting into the overnight hours, that activity will be moving on to the east-southeast. We got to keep an eye on the Panhandle and parts of western Oklahoma. I think by midnight tonight, it's going to be more of a wind threat, but if we can get some cells to form ahead of the line, we can see some quarter to $half size hail. But this is at midnight. Going on through at 2 a.m., we can possibly see a line of storms moving on through here in Oklahoma City. And then as we go throughout the rest of the night and nearing daybreak, we can get some possibly some severe wind gusts from Tulsa eastward to Little Rock. So it looks like it's going to be another busy night in the Central Plains and, of course, here at the Hill Palace. And then let's take a look at the southeast. There will be a few storms that will fire along and ahead of that cold front. Nothing too crazy, though, just some pop-up variety storms producing up to $half size hail, some sporadic 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts as well. And as we lose that heating of the day, you can see most of that activity is expected to pretty much just fall apart. But we could see another storm or two as we get into the overnight as well, but I'm not expecting anything too crazy. It may just be a little bit noisy at the most. So in terms of the largest hail today, I think up to tennis ball size hail is possible in the Central Plains. We could maybe see something larger, just depends on how strong those storms get. So here is our forecast for today. Again, here in Nebraska and Kansas, that's where the strongest chances are going to be, as well as the largest hail. So North Platte down to Garden City, you can see up to tennis ball size hail. So your chances are there once again. And like I mentioned, we got to keep an eye on Colorado Springs and Pueblo for the chance of severe hail there as well. The chances are low, but we could see up to $half size hail if we can get those storms to form in the metro areas. And then the chances of hail stretch to the east to once again include Wichita. And then I think the storm mode will most likely be more linear by the time they reach Oklahoma City overnight, but there is still a marginal chance to see up to $half size hail if we can get any storms again to form ahead of that line. And then a low chance as well as we get into, this will be pretty much after 2 a.m., 2 to 7 a.m. for Arkansas. So Little Rock, you could see up to $half size hail once those storms reach you guys early tomorrow morning. And then for wind, this is sponsored by American Contractor Show. Thank you guys for sponsoring. Can once again be a very windy night. The storm mode is expected to be more discrete to start off, so individual supercells, but we could still see some gusty winds here up to 60 miles per hour from North Platte, even as far west as Pueblo. But then as the storms move on to the south and east overnight and become more linear in nature, we can really get that wind machine to start up once again. So 75-mile-per-hour wind gusts are possible from Garden City to Wichita, and then they may be a little bit on the below that as they reach in Oklahoma City, but up to 70-mile-per-hour gusts are still possible there, as well as into Amarillo. And then some marginal chances as those storms move off to the southeast as we get into the overnight hours. Little Rock and Shreveport are included in that. And then with that cold front, we can see up to 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts with those strongest storms that develop right along the Gulf Coast into the southeastern parts of the Carolinas. So here is our radar for tomorrow morning. We're going to wake up. It's going to be a bit noisy from Tulsa to Little Rock. It looks like it's going to be mostly just a big old mess. We could see it some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts as we wake up, though, from 6 to 7 a.m. But as we get into tomorrow afternoon, you can see this activity will move on to the southeast. This is at noon tomorrow. They'll be crossing right into Mississippi. Jackson, Mississippi, you will potentially see some pretty strong winds tomorrow. This is at 2:30, so between like 2 and 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And then that line will move off to the southeast and start to weaken a bit as it reaches the Gulf Coast. This is at 7 p.m. tomorrow evening, and then will move off the coast into the Gulf of Mexico as we get into late tomorrow evening. So it could be a bit of a noisy day for you guys along the Gulf Coast northward to around Little Rock, Arkansas. And then as we near daybreak, there could be a few little storms, but I'm not expecting anything in terms of severe weather. That should end tomorrow evening between like 10 and 11 p.m. Central Time as that line moves off the coast. So moving off just to the west a little bit, just to check on it, and I don't know why, I think I just had that in there, and yeah, I got to click it. There we go. Getting into tomorrow's hail forecast, I think is mostly going to be wind. We could get some hail, though, up to $half size. I'm keeping it on the lower end right now because, like I said, I think it's going to be mostly a line. But here is the area that we will be watching, and thanks to Merlin Law Group for being a sponsor. Little Rock to Memphis, Shreveport, Jackson, Mississippi, all the way down to New Orleans, Louisiana, eastward to Mobile. $half size hail is possible here for any storms that can form ahead of that main line. And then getting into our wind for tomorrow, same areas, anywhere from 60 to maybe 70 miles per hour, especially as we begin our day. I think we can get a decent chance of some strong winds from Little Rock, as well as some lower chances in Memphis and Shreveport. The best chances, though, I think are going to be right from Little Rock to Jackson, down in New Orleans and Mobile. As just looking at the models, that's the track that this line is going to be taking. So again, it's going to be another busy day, but after tomorrow, is there anything to watch? Well, let's take a look at our jet stream. Here is that trough in the northeast with that low pressure system. It's going to be moving off the coast. And then we have a little bit of a dip here, a little disturbance moving off of the Rockies, which will be the energy that will be sparking off those storms later on today. And then getting into tomorrow, that will move off into the southern part of the U.S., and that trough will continue to move off to the east. I think for our Saturday, as of right now, it looks to be relatively quiet. It may just be just general non-severe storms here in the middle of the country, but as we get into Sunday, you can see another little wiggle here. Another disturbance will be coming off the Rockies and once again be giving us a chance to see some hail in the same areas that we're possibly going to see it today. So speaking of Sunday, here we go. This is sponsored by Atlas. Thank you guys for sponsoring. So again, I think Saturday should be relatively quiet, but Sunday we'll get that next disturbance coming off of the Rockies and Rapid City down to North Platte, down to Garden City, eastward, maybe as far east as Wichita. You guys will potentially see some severe weather on Sunday. So yeah, it's the same areas hogging this hail and wind. And this is still a few days out, so we will tweak this as we get closer. So that's all I have for you today. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and our brand new TikTok page. We like to create some fun content on there for you guys. Office shenanigans, how we do stuff here at Hail Trace, as well as when we go out into the field and go storm chasing. So yeah, make sure you go on there and follow us. It's a lot of fun. And then if you have any questions, concerns, if you just want to say hi, you can give us a call at 855-334-4245. You can email us at info@hailtrace.com and check out our website at www.hailtrace.com. And I am meteorologist Heather Kay. I hope you all have a great rest of your Thursday.